Clarence Featherson, evaluator number 2.
Duke Ellington said, "It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. Do-wop, 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 yeah." Dennis, your speech was inspiring, entertaining, humorous, and very touching. It definitely had swing. Contest master, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, good-looking judges. And Dennis. Dennis, your speech was inspiring, entertaining, it was touching, it was wonderful. It was a special speech. And I think your speech was special because of certain special ingredients in your speech, and I'd like to tell you what I think those ingredients were. Number one, Dennis's use of notes. He didn't have any. And because you didn't have any notes, that allowed you to use all of the speaking area for your speech. The second thing that I thought you did exceptionally well is you told a personal story. Not only did you tell a personal story, but you used humor in it. And humor and a personal story is incredibly powerful for connecting with the audience. Another thing that I thought you did exceptionally well is you had dialogue in your story. So it wasn't a narrative or an essay. And not only did Dennis have a dialogue, but he had very good vocal variety. So his characters had different voices. Now Dennis, as inspiring and as entertaining and as wonderful as your speech was, I do have some specific suggestions for improvement that I think will jazz up your speech, add pizzazz, make it more effective, and help it really swing, swing, swing. So Dennis, let me tell you what those suggestions are. One, when you use the speaking area, I suggest that you make sure that throughout the story that it's balanced. I think you spent 2/3 of it between here and here. I would suggest stretch it out. You didn't have notes, so you were able to do the entire speaking area. Another thing I suggest that you do is use the power of the pause. When you talked about you came home and you saw your father and had a vision of you being straight, pause. Let it sink in. When you talked about your father saying he only had an 8th grade education, pause. And at the end, when you were telling your friend about your way of helping him, pause, to let the power of the pause sink in. Another thing that I would just suggest is you had very good vocal variety, but for your father, make it even better than very good. Make it great. Stay in character for his voice. Sometimes it was his voice, sometimes it was yours. And the third thing that I would suggest that you do in terms of making this, bringing this really together, is that you share a challenge at the end. Tell us, what did you want us to do? But overall, to summarize, your use of notes, the speaking area, your humor, telling the story was great. Suggestions for improvement, entire speaking area. Make sure you stay in voice and have a challenge. Your speech was a treat for the ear, and remember, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Contest master.